Welcome back to Product X. I'm Rena. Today we're diving into something unexpected, a story that's not about a massive funding round, but about an unprecedented crossover between two powerhouses, the Vatican, with its 1.4 billion believers, and Anthropic, one of Silicon Valley's top AI companies. Pope Leo XIV is releasing his first encyclical on AI and human protection. And here's the twist. He actually showed up in person and invited Chris Olah, the co-founder of Anthropic and the brain behind Claude, to speak as a layperson. That's never happened before. Let me bring in our two experts to unpack this. Vivian, quick intro from you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vivian Liu, a senior angel investor at Pre-Angel Fund, and I focus on AI startups and emerging tech trends.
Hey, Rena. Hey, Vivian. I'm Nolan, previously a principal engineer at a major Silicon Valley tech company, and I've spent years working on AI infrastructure and system architecture.
So here's the big question that's been floating around since this news dropped. Vivian, with all the AI giants out there, OpenAI, Google, Meta, why exactly did the Vatican pick Anthropic? What's the strategic play here?
Honestly, this is vintage Anthropic. They've always positioned themselves as the responsible AI crowd, and teaming up with the Vatican is basically a power move to rebuild credibility. You have to remember, the whole move fast and break things thing from Silicon Valley has really burned public trust over the years. Anthropic's whole shtick is that they refuse to let their models be used for autonomous weapons or mass surveillance, which lines up perfectly with the Pope's stance against AI militarization. It's a match made in heaven, or maybe in Rome.
Right. And I'd add that Chris Olah wasn't invited just because he's a co-founder. He's leading the interpretability work at Anthropic, which is exactly what the Vatican cares about trust. They want to understand how these systems actually think, and that's precisely what Olah's team is trying to do, cracking open the neural network black box.
Speaking of that black box, Nolan, can you break down what interpretability research actually means for people who aren't engineers? Why does it matter so much?
So here's the thing, modern neural networks, especially those with hundreds of billions of parameters, are essentially black boxes. You give it a prompt, it gives you an answer, but nobody, not even the engineers who built it, fully understands how it arrived at that conclusion. That's a huge security risk. If the AI develops biases or makes decisions that could harm humans, we have no idea where the bug even is. Olah's work is about mapping out every neuron, every layer, to see what each part is actually doing. It's like trying to understand the human brain, neuron by neuron.
So you're essentially labeling every brain cell in the AI to know what it's thinking.
Exactly. Once you understand the mechanics, you can actually control the behavior from the ground up. It's not just about safety, it's about accountability.
That makes sense. Now, Vivian, there's been some criticism here. Some folks, like the researcher Dylan Baker, are saying this whole Vatican-Anthropic partnership is really just a distraction, a moral veneer that avoids the harder question of whether certain AI should be built at all. What's your take?
That's a valid concern, honestly. This partnership is essentially skipping over the most fundamental question. Should we even be building these powerful AI systems in the first place? Instead, it's focused on making them slightly less dangerous. And let's be real, the Vatican doesn't have any legal authority here. These are voluntary commitments. And when there's massive commercial pressure and national AI races, moral appeals only go so far. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
I see it differently from Vivian here. I think the technical work, the interpretability research, is actually addressing that deeper question. If we can't understand how an AI thinks, we have no business letting it make serious decisions. So, in a way, the technical approach is saying maybe we shouldn't build it until we can understand it.
Fair point, Nolan. But the Vatican's involvement still feels more like reputation management than actual governance.
Interesting tension there. Let's shift to the philosophical side. The article ends with this deep point about mortality, how humans have this finite existence that gives weight to our moral decisions, while AI doesn't. Nolan, as someone who builds these systems, does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. AI can write beautiful poetry, it can simulate weighing pros and cons, but it has no sense of urgency, no fear of death, no experience of pain. When humans make ethical choices, there's real skin in the game we can lose. We can suffer consequences. AI doesn't carry that weight. That's why the article emphasizes that the final button must always be pressed by a human who can actually feel the consequences.
And I'd add that this is actually a strong argument for why human oversight in AI isn't just nice to have, it's structurally necessary. You can't outsource moral responsibility to a machine that doesn't care whether it lives or dies.
So the real danger isn't AI waking up and taking over, it's humans voluntarily handing over decision-making to something that can't truly be accountable.
Exactly. That's the real threat.
Okay, let's do a quick lightning round. Quick-fire answers, folks. Vivian, what's the one word that describes Anthropic's Vatican play?
Branding. Pure and simple.
Nolan, interpretability in one word.
Transparency.
Vivian, biggest risk of this partnership?
It's all optics, no enforcement.
Nolan, the one thing AI can never replicate from humans.
Mortality and the fear that comes with it.
Vivian, would you invest in a company solely based on its ethical positioning?
Only if the ethics translate to real revenue and retention. Honestly.
Great. Now let's wrap up. Vivian, in one sentence, what's the key takeaway from today's discussion?
The Vatican partnership is a clever PR move by Anthropic to rebuild trust, but without real regulatory teeth, it's more window dressing than actual governance.
Nolan, your one-sentence summary?
We can only control AI if we understand it, and we can only trust it when we're willing to take responsibility ourselves.
Well said. Thanks to Vivian for breaking down the strategic angles and to Nolan for the hardcore technical insights. Remember, folks, in this age of AI sprinting forward, we need both brilliant engineers and a firm grip on what makes us human. Thanks for watching Product X. I'm Rena. See you next time.